Oh my gosh, it's actually Monday night, and we're hosting a Monday night's lights live show. We made it happen,
Can't
Tim.
hear you,
Oh no, Tim can't hear me.
Oh, there you are. You unmuted me. Yep.
I didn't have you muted, bro. I think you're having some issues on your end again.
No, the phone said no. It was saying your audio is muted while the video plays.
Oh well, yeah. While the intro played, it had you muted. Yeah, there might have been a delay. Whatever. Welcome everybody. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Kerper says salutation. Oh, he says salutations to Matthew. Football is the best sport on earth, and it's not close. So no, we won't be skipping it. That's I don't know if that's targeted at somebody. I don't know. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I agree. Like, yeah, we're definitely not going to skip it. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope your weekend's great. Patreon supporters, wow, June was incredible. Appreciate you guys. We were able to land the plane at the end of the month, and July is off to a good start. We brought in King Command as a new legendary status member. Tim Neal right here. He's a new $8 gentleman, part of the $8 club, and gosh, Jake Hawes came back. Jumpmaster Scott came back. We had some others. I apologize if I left you out, but hey, man, come get in on some Patreon. Tusk Talk with Tay Patreon content. I've been dropping it like it's hot. Plenty of content over there. And yeah, we've got interviews trying to get them lined up, and really want to bring the smoke in Tusk Talk with Tay Patreon. So please consider joining. There's a link provided for you down below in the description box, or what used to be known as the description box. So shout out to you, the Patreon member. Appreciate you. And of course, we're able to do this because of Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. They're up to over 1,000 now. That's incredible. In Central Arkansas, 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead. This show's longtime sponsor. And Mac, I see you in Discord. Like, share, and subscribe. That's absolutely right. Tim, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Literally, my internet just kicked back on after being off for the last 5 hours. It waited till I got set up with the show on my phone, and now I could have used my computer. But I'm good. I'm good.
At least you're here, right? At least you're here. That's all that matters, Tim.
Right.
We got to talk about something really quick.
And now it's gone. Yeah.
EA College Football 2.6. You're in the Dynasty. You're in both of them, right?
I'm in both of them.
Okay.
I'm not any good, but I'm in them. So.
Yeah. So if you guys are playing EA College Football 2.6, we do have 2 leagues in Tusk Talk with Tay Discord. We have an open league. Anybody could join. That's it. You can join. All you gotta do is just gotta be in Discord. You could sign up, you could play, you could sign up now. The only difference is we had a cutoff time 5 p.m. today. If you would have joined before then, you would have gotten an XP bonus. Maybe you don't really care about that. You can still join us. You just won't get the 1K XP, but you will get probably give you like 500. I don't know. Go ahead and sign up, man. It's completely open. Like, you could pick any team you want in the open league. You just got to customize your own coach.
You get the opportunity to beat Tay.
Plenty of people have done that. Yes. I was not very good at 2.5. It wasn't until like everyone stopped playing when I started figuring out how to operate the RPO. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can actually beat people with this. Where I actually was I was decent. I wasn't good, but I was all right towards the end. But yeah, I lost a lot. In Madden too. Remember, we played Madden last year before EA 2.5 dropped, and I didn't win a single game. So that was a lot of games played. But anyways, come join us.
I didn't actually get to play in the EA because.
Say what?
Hello. I didn't get to actually play in the EA one because it wasn't cross-platform last year. So this year.
Oh yeah.
That's all fixed.
Yeah, this year it is.
I was the only Xbox person in the. Yeah.
Oh no! I had about 5 or 6 DMs that were Xbox users who didn't know if the game was cross-plat or not, and they couldn't play, and they were pretty bummed out by it. But
they should have set us up a 5 or 6 person league. Yeah,
I probably should have. Yeah, I had my hands full with those 2, the public and the Patreon leagues, just like this year. Less rules this year. We're not gonna.
That's fair.
We're not going to have as many rules. Anyways, come join, come sign up. EA College Football 2.6. lot of fun. Patreon and public league. Now, again, the public league, which anybody can join so long as you get the password and so on and so forth. The Patreon league, you can only be a group of 5 school. You can't be a Power 5. You can't be or Power 4. No SEC teams in the Patreon league. No ACC, no Big 10, and I guess we consider the Big 12 a Power 4. I believe in the power of 2. I think there's only 2 power conferences, the SEC and the Big 10. That's just me. Megan says playing video games hurts my neck. Heartbroken Hawk says I'm too ass at sports games. I'm not. The funny thing is the old NCAA games, I was really good. I got really good at those. But fast forward 11 years when they dropped 2-5, I struggled a lot, but I did eventually figure it out. All right. So I do appreciate all you guys for being here. Again, make sure you like, share, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. And I know we're gonna get some people angry at the title of this video, but just listen to what we have to say here. Okay. We're gonna start off. We'll start off smooth before we get into the title of the video or what you see on the thumbnail. So give us a minute. Taye Kenny, a big time 5-star point guard, top 15 player in the top 15 player in the country, number three point guard in the country. So he's a big time player, unanimous 5-star, I think everywhere but ESPN. In a recent interview with Rivals, Kenny gave his thoughts on head coach John Calipari. He says it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just look at Coach Cal's background, all the players he sent to the league, all the guards he's coached. Kenny is also scheduled, so he's gonna visit Arkansas September 26th, and Kenny is also scheduled to visit Indiana on the 29th of August, Oregon on September 6th, Texas September 12th. He's already completed official visits to Purdue, Louisville, and Kentucky. Kenny says he's also planning on visiting Kansas. Tim, I know you've watched quite a bit of highlight footage on him. You've done a little bit of reading on him. I've seen some, but I think you've seen a little bit more. What is it you see in Taye Kenny, and what do you like?
Man, what I really like is he can shoot the ball. He can get anywhere he wants to on the floor. I think he's 6'1", 185 pounds-ish. He can get anywhere he wants on the floor, and he can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He shoots the 3 well. He shoots mid-range well. He takes it to the hole and dunks on people. He can do what he wants. What I see, I think we talked before, he's a little more boogie flan than DJ Wagner. He didn't distribute the ball a ton in the highlights that I saw. And I know there's a reason for that. I know they're going to show him scoring. But at the same time, if you're a point guard, you kind of want to see him make some passes. And I saw him with wide open guys decide to take the ball to the hole instead. Decide to take the mid-range jumper instead of passing to wide open guys. So I think a little more boogie flan than DJ Wagner. But I don't necessarily have a problem with that because, like I said, he can shoot from anywhere. He's a fantastic shooter and a great talent. So it'll be interesting to see. Did watch some interviews, some different podcasts and shows talking about him and his recruitment. I think one of the things that really stuck out was people were saying he's an Adidas guy and he's going to go to an Adidas school. And he responded to that and he was like, look, my Adidas contract runs out at the end of my senior year of high school. So I'm not bound to an Adidas school. But I think that there could be some sway there, some pull there. Definitely. And then he's a Kentucky guy. So obviously Kentucky and Louisville are probably 1 and 2 for him. Just right out of the gates. I know both schools have former guys that he's played with that he would be interested in playing with again. Every single show I watched, they were talking about the guys that he had played with and how he's expressed in multiple interviews. I love playing with them. Maybe we could do that again. And so, I mean, it will be interesting to see what Cal can pull off with them.
Yeah, it'd be a good get. That class, just one commit in the 2-6 class for Arkansas, and that's, of course, none other than big one. Yeah, J.J. Andrews, who is only a 5-star according to ESPN, but I think he's going to continue to climb. He's already climbed a little bit. Andrews, who's 6'6", 220. Go watch his footage. We know about the legacy that he is with that name. out of Little Rock Christian Academy. It's awesome to have a kid like this. I really cannot wait to see JJ Andrews in a Razorback jersey, and hopefully they could pull off. They could pull this kid off as well. So, but yeah, that would be two if they could get Kenny along with Andrews. Holy crap! You're already off to a really good start with that 2026 class. By the way, JJ Andrews. He is the unanimous number 1 player in the state of Arkansas, which does carry more weight than football, right? Football in the state of Arkansas when it comes to high school ball it's not really that well known, but basketball maybe a little bit more so because of Little Rock and certainly some of the Northwest Arkansas schools are capable of producing. We know there's a certain Razorback that's from Springdale that just signed with the Razorbacks and he's on campus. So this state does do a pretty decent job with basketball with players in this state and at the high school level. So I think JJ Andrews is legit, and I do think that the same thing about this young man as well. That's Taye Kenny. Look him up on On3. I think you have to pay now to look at like offers and stuff, which is like the only website that makes you do that, by the way. But yeah, Kentucky, Louisville, Purdue, Arkansas, and Indiana are on their prediction scale, and they've got Arkansas. Again, I don't think this is super accurate, but they've got Arkansas 7.8%. How the hell you dial it down like that, I don't know. But they do have, as Tim mentioned, Kentucky is at 20. I think that's 28.7% favored to go to that school, and then Louisville at 14.5, and then Purdue in third at 12.4. But yeah, you never know about Arkansas. Don't count out Coach Cal. He could absolutely make a move, and all of a sudden now we might be top 2 in there competing with either Louisville or Kentucky. So yeah, man. Again, appreciate everyone who's coming in. Make sure you like, share, hit the subscribe button. Please share the tweet, the Tusk Talk with Ty tweet that's got the link to the show. Please do that. We're trying to get back on a normal schedule on Monday nights. And then once we do that, we'll, pick up hopefully some more people along the way. It's certainly nice to go live when people expect you to go live. That's just been difficult because of schedules and everything. And sometimes too, you're also waiting on things to talk about. We don't have a team full of staff, writers and people that can help kind of fill out a show. We kind of have to wait on stuff that's worth talking about. So yeah, sometimes we do have to push the show to Tuesday or Wednesday, but we're going to try and stick to a Monday night live show. Fishman says, this is a super chat. Does anyone here still have to pinch themselves the fact that Cal is our freaking coach? I still do sometimes. Isn't that amazing though? I mean, Cal is, you can thank John Tyson for that. I mean, I don't know. Hunter Yurachek, I'm sure, facilitated that move, right? But at the end of the day, you don't get Cal here without the chicken, man. Just point blank. Not that Arkansas isn't a great basketball school, but yeah. Heartbroken Hog wants to know, Ty, what could be done to support high school football? We have a similar population to Mississippi, but don't produce nearly the same talent, and I don't understand why the discrepancy is so great. That's actually, I can make an entire hour-long Patreon video on this. This has been an ongoing conversation in both the Tusk Talk Discord, in other group chats, and in other places. I have my opinion on it, and this is based off of who was on Bo Mattingly's show back in the day when Petrino was still here. This was like 2011, and they got someone. They basically sent people down to Little Rock to talk to some of the coaches and talk to people that were well plugged in Little Rock. And one of the things that came up on the show, I swear I would love if Bo Mattingly, and I know there's not a lot of big fans of Bo Mattingly, the Chuck and Bo show, but I would love it if someone would call in and ask if he remembers when he was trying to figure that out on his show, talking about the in-state talent or the lack thereof. But one of the things that his people reported was that Kevin Durant, LeBron James, the big three down in Miami, Bosh and LeBron, and when they went down, they made basketball exciting again. And all of a sudden, that's where all the talent, all what talent we do have in this state, they wanted to play basketball because of those guys. Or, when the Boston Celtics added Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, they had, of course, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen. It made basketball exciting again. And it made for a lot of the high school kids, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to play high school, or they wanted to play basketball because they felt like that was the clearest path to, make some money down the road if they were good enough. And I remember kind of thinking about that, like, damn, that kind of makes sense. We're already a low population state, right? 3 million people. And like he mentioned, Mississippi is similar in population. And they're also a very poor state. Mississippi is just like Arkansas. I don't know how many of those factors, which matters the most. But when you think about it, that was actually a pretty decent explanation. That and, over the last 15 years or so, we've had this, I don't want to say, like, there's been this rise in awareness of concussions in football. And parents are way more, they're just more vigilant. They want to do their research. I'll say this, my wife's sister did not want her son, Max, who's a big kid. He plays at Farmington. She didn't want him playing high school football for that very reason. And so again, if that's affecting Arkansas, then I'm sure there's other states that got to deal with it, and they're not hurting when you're talking about like the population of high school talent. So I think it's a lot of factors. I think poverty in 60% of the state, that matters. There's so much rural area here, and really just I think high school basketball is king in Arkansas. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There's all sorts of different takes and reasons for that. I'm telling you, I could fill up a whole damn show talking about that. But it's already a low population state outside of NWA, and in places in NWA, there's a lot of poverty. It's expensive to fund high school football. It is expensive. Those pads are not cheap. The cleats are not cheap. Facilitating the players back and forth and trying to figure out, where you're going to play. That stuff is just really, it's difficult to coordinate and to get everyone on the same page. It is something, I don't know. It seems to really haunt Arkansas high school football, but I could go on and on. Peanut Butter Posse says the athletic genetics in Mississippi run pretty strong. I know that high school sports are a big deal in Mississippi. That is that is a big deal. BT Bates, who I'm pretty sure this is I think this is Kim Jong in our Discord. It wasn't that. It's been that way forever. It was the 1990 to 95 teams. We focused on basketball as a state after that. Oh, well, that too. I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't a thing either. Yeah, of course. When you're playing in the Final Four and you're playing in back-to-back titles, like, yeah, everyone dreams of being a Razorback basketball player playing for Nolan, of course. But I think you have to understand, we're talking about that time when Bo Mattingly was on the air bringing this up. We're talking about that era. We're not talking about just before that or after or since. We're talking about that era. It's carried over into this, and yes, there's pre-existing issues as well. Basketball is a big thing in the state of Arkansas. It's just not a lot of money here, not a lot of people here, so it doesn't always shine through. But yeah, of course, I wanted to. I mean, Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, and Oliver Miller were like my heroes as a kid. I mean, they were. Nolan Richardson.
Mine too.
I wasn't thinking about Barry Foster in the Razorbacks, right? I wasn't thinking about that time. I was thinking about basketball because Arkansas was good at it, and I think that also matters. Anyways, I digress. We can move on from that. I wanted to talk about this thing with Hunter Yurachek. Tim, did you see his tweet the other day?
Yeah, I did. I did, and actually, I didn't understand why people were completely upset with it until I read the Best of Arkansas Sports article about it, and now I kind of get it. It just was a very tone deaf tweet. And I think that's kind of been a history for him, and that's kind of what the article said too. Was like, you're going to comment on what lawyers are taking, but you just took a raise, $30,000 raise. Kind of tone deaf, and you fired 10% of the staff.
Yeah, he got a pretty good extension several years ago, like you said in the article, in the Best of Arkansas Sports article. But this is the tweet, if anyone didn't see it, and this caused complete outrage. Hunter Yurachek tweeted, and this was on July 11th at 6:19 p.m., so just not that long ago, a couple days ago. The attorneys filed this suit because they, quote-unquote, cared so much about student athletes. what are their chances they're going to share this revenue with student athletes? So yeah, there's going to be some. We knew this was going to
I
get
don't think he
ugly.
expected to get ratioed like he did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's Will, who's
I don't think he
also
expected that at all.
this is a legendary member right here, Will_NSS. Don't you make close to 1.5 million off the backs of those athletes? How much do you share with them? And I mean, listen, Will's got a point here, but like he is paid to do a job. Hunter Yurachek is paid to do a job to run the athletic department at Arkansas. Of course, that's just the business, right? That's just how it works. There's several other ADs that make a lot more money. However, they might be getting better results in some areas. Resign effective immediately. Yeah, he got absolutely. This is crazy. I mean, it only, let's see, there was one I saw that was pretty. So you're wanting a raise, is what it sounds like. If only we had someone who cared about the fans, the state, and the football program. So the BOA, the Best of Arkansas Sports article, it talks about this, about how fans are already not happy about, losing their spots in Bud Walton Arena. And some of the price hikes and everything, how fans are just they're not digging this. And so in the BOAS article, again, this was written by Evan Demerol, who is I think he's still the owner of BOAS. He talks about like some of the good, and then he says, you fast forward after he got that salary increase of 1.5 million per year and an extension through 2027, by the way. For anyone who thinks he's just going to get fired now or next week, that's not going to happen. That extension is filed through 2027.
I think I caught back. There you are.
There you go. But they say fast forward 2 years, and let me see if I can get that up here. Stop that. We're going to go to BOAS, and we're going to share this screen so you guys can read this. This is, again, Best of Arkansas Sports. Yurachek at low point optics-wise. Fast forward not even 2 years. So after, the things that he got right and after the extension that he was given, so fast forward not even 2 years, and that salary and Kevin Trainer are two reasons why Yurachek is near the low point public relations-wise of his time in Fayetteville. He's experienced 2 big hits to his image in the last 6 months alone, thanks to the announcement of an overhauled seating policy at Bud Walton Arena, which will squeeze some longtime fans out of their seats, and then and firing or inducing an early retirement of about 10% of the athletic department to free up the additional $20.5 million in revenue needed in the wake of the House settlement. So David Basil on 103.7 said this: there's a good chance that Hunter is not going to be here a year or two from now. He said this last Tuesday on Morning Mayhem on 103.7 The Buzz. At some point he's moving on. So we're going to look around and go, who's left up there, who knows history that can help with the transition of the next athletic department. Tim, this is kind of wild. I mean, first off, for Basil to say that, you got to feel like he's probably hearing something. Like, I don't know. I'm going to be real. Some of you guys might listen to them. I just don't listen to a lot of sports talk radio outside of like what I can get on my radio in my car. And that's 92.1. And then that's, of course, the Chuck and Bo show. And then later on you get Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft. And then you get Matt Jones and Phil. I'll listen to them off and on. I don't listen to a lot of the Buzz only because I just can't get them on my car radio. But I would think someone like that, who is dialed in, by the way, obviously, for him to say something like that, I don't know. Do you think Hunter will be here even just a year from now, or do we see some moves here?
I mean, we are such a pendulum swing of a program of a fan base that I could see him getting tired of it. The fans are obviously tired of him, but it's like, you did a great thing. You got Calipari. Oh my God, you did this. We're ready to fire you. Okay, you brought Petrino back. Okay,
Yeah.
we're very pendulum swing as a fan base, and I think that can probably wear on somebody. So whether it's his choice or whether the boosters are like, we're done with you, it's very possible he could be gone in 2. I don't know if 1. The weird thing is our programs are at great places minus football. And I know football's
Yeah.
the one that brings in the most money, but softball's in a great place, baseball's in a great place, basketball's in a great place. Everything is lining up except football. We just have to figure that thing out. But it's the big one. So
It is. It is the big one. And when you're not winning at it, all that other stuff is just
yeah.
stuff just does not matter. It equals to nothing. If you're not at least, winning 8 or 9 games a year in this league in the SEC, you're a poverty program. And I'm not saying that is the case or that it's not the case, but that's where the ADs are going to take the biggest hits.
I will say this about the basketball. I think maybe some people that are upset about the basketball seating don't completely understand what happened, because I didn't. But really, from what I've read, the basketball seating opens up seats to the fans,
Oh, does it?
which I think is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically he took people that were donating $20,000 were allowed to get 18 tickets. Now they have to pay 40,000 to get 10 tickets, I think is the way that I read it. So they're not allowed to get as many tickets, or they have to double the amount of money that they're going to pay to get the same tickets. And there are more lower levels to get 2 tickets. So there's a lot more
Yeah.
opportunity for the fans to get 2 season tickets.
Hmm.
He's cut back how many tickets people can get. I think what it was is, if you're gonna get the 18 tickets you used to get for 20, you're gonna have to pay 40,000 now for them.
Wow.
And it's created more of a lower level, mid level for more fans to be able to get tickets.
Yeah. Heartbroken Hog says, I embrace it. We will always be better at basketball. Well, it's not always the case, but certainly has been for the most part since Muss has been here. We got to remember the 2000s happened, man. 1990s.
Stanny's, John Pelfrey.
Oh, gosh. Mike Anderson overall was mediocre at best. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I will not accept football being a dumpster fire. And that is where, and I completely agree, that's where everyone's at with this. I got to fire back on this one, though. Josh Huffman, like Josh, he's been around for a minute. He says Yurachek needs to go. Pittman needs to go. Van Horn needs to go. What?
Van Horn?
Come on, Josh. Come on now. That's the only – I mean, yeah, up until this year, the last 2 years, they failed in postseason, getting knocked out of their own regional. But my God, they only lost to the team that would go on to win the national title. It was the only team that could knock them out, and they did just that. I don't know that – no, I don't want Van Horn going. Absolutely not. I want to keep him here.
Keep Cal, I guess. Keep Cal, yeah. I guess.
Wow. That is spoken though, that's spoken like a true just diehard football fan. And I get it. I understand the frustration. BT Bates says, what if Yurachek is doing all the dirt the board wants, so when he gets fired, it's the parachute?
And then pretty much the parachute no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anybody from those types of positions gets fired without a parachute.
He'll land somewhere. What I see likely, I've not been a fan of how he's handled NIL. I've not been a fan of. I thought he should have hired a GM for Pittman 2 years ago. And I get it. Like some of this stuff, there's other schools that are also kind of dragging their feet in these areas. It's not just Arkansas. It's not just Hunter Yurachek. Of course, to us, it always seems like we're the worst at everything because that's the only news that we take in. That's the only thing that we can understand is what we really care about. Oh, we lost him again. Boy, Tim's got to get that internet fixed. But, it always seems like it's worse because that's who we keep up with. But at the same time, there is some criticism is valid. on Hunter Yurachek. And it's not what he tweeted was not good. What he tweeted was not good. The attorneys filed this suit because they quote unquote cared so much about student athletes. What are the chances they are going to share this revenue with student athletes? Like that, the optics of that, you're an athletic director, and the visual on college athletics is that you're profiting off these players as the athletic director. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm saying it's happening. And now players can be paid, which I'm all for. It's just gotten kind of out of hand. But yeah, I love, this is Steven. What's up, Steven? How you doing, man? I love basketball and baseball, but we were a football school.
Were we?
I don't know.
Were we, or is that the biggest misconception in Arkansas history?
I guess it depends on when you say you're a quote unquote school. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like that's what fans care about the most? Then yeah, okay, sure, but that's all of the South. That's every team in the South. What are you? And then if you mean like what we're good at, it's been baseball the last decade. It's been baseball. That's where because the expectations are Omaha.
I mean, even the last 3 decades, minus a couple of Bobby Petrino seasons and a couple of Houston Nuts seasons.
Yeah,
we've largely been baseball and basketball. I don't remember. I don't remember the last time that football. Well, like I said, besides a couple of those seasons.
Yeah. Josh Huffman says, listen, I love Van Horn. He's amazing, but dude is old. He needs to go ahead and run off into the sunset. Listen, man, it's college baseball. These coaches go into their late 60s, mid 70s. I just don't see him. I don't see that happening anytime soon. That's for sure. Ricky says, put down the pipe. So again, going back to the optics of it, not a good look for him to tweet that. And I think what you said, tone deaf, I think that's pretty accurate. Let's move on to this thing about Sam Pitman. If you guys didn't see this, and I don't have it pulled up where you guys could see it, you just have to take my word for it, I guess. But all SEC football on Twitter posted this. I guess it was today or maybe yesterday. SEC head coach's record in one possession games at current school. Okay, let's go down this list here really quick. Kellen DeBoer, 2-3. Hugh Freeze, 2-6. Billy Napier, 5-6. Kirby Smart, 22-9. Mark Stoops, 26-21. Brian Kelly, 8-3. What's that actually surprised me? I'm not going to lie. I would not have guessed that. Jeff Lebby, 0-1, because, he was too busy getting blown out in all those other games. Eli Drinkowitz, 17-7. Brent Venables, 5-9. Lane Kiffin, 12-7. Sam Pitman, 7-17.
Yeah, I have notes on this one, and I'm taking my camera off so I can pull up those notes real quick because that's bad. But I was looking at the teams there.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. See if I can get my notes back up here. Because
the 2024 season, they had just 2 games that they lost that were one possession.
Okay,
and they
here's the thing about it.
Okay.
The ones that he won, Mississippi State 2020, Cincinnati 2022, LSU 2021, but they blew a fourth quarter lead and had to win in overtime. Kansas blew a late lead and had to win in overtime. Mississippi State again trailed in the second half and won late. Florida 2023 trailed in the second half, won late. Tennessee 2024 edged out the in-conference close win. But you look at the ones that they lost, and short of Liberty, which we absolutely should have won, some of these games, I mean, the fact that we were one possession out against Alabama in 21 and 23, one possession out on LSU in 22 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
2020 with LSU, 2022 Texas A&M, 2024 Texas A&M. I mean, these are not it's not like we were losing close games that we were expected to be the winners in. We were in games that we shouldn't probably have been in. Alabama games in particular, we probably shouldn't have even been in those games,
Right.
in my opinion. So yeah, it's bad that he can't seem to coach that one score victory ever. But at the same time, if you look at the quality of the opponent, it's kind of shocking that we're in some of those games at all.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. But I think what fans, so like if you go back to 2023 and you look at like BYU. Now, I don't remember how good should have won that game. Yeah, you lost 38-31. It was a one possession game. Should have absolutely won that one.
100%. That's why I skipped over that one.
but then you go to Alabama, and you're in that game. They were number 11 in the country at the time, and you lost by a field goal. It's like, holy hell, they actually went on the road. But I think what fans are tired of is they hear that and they just hear moral victories, right? That's what they hear when they hear that.
You absolutely have to overcome the moral victory thing. You have to win some of those games. I'm not making excuses. Absolutely not. I'm just also saying, when you lose it, moral victory or not, to have been within 1 point of number 11 Alabama in a season where you started out losing to BYU, I mean, you shouldn't have even been in that game. So a little perspective, and not saying moral victories are okay, but a little perspective is definitely in order.
But there have been those games, again, BYU being one of them and Liberty being the other. There have been those games. I do think that this is the narrative of Sam Pitman. I think when we read his eulogy when he's fired or retires, when we look back on a head coach, it's going to be, okay, Bobby Petrino. What do we say about Petrino? Oh, well, who knows what he could have done because he got fired because of the whole situation with the blonde and, hiring her and giving her money and lying to your AD and the fans about it. That's what they talk about, right? Brett Bielema is a failed experiment. One of the things, I say experiment, but one of the things that killed him was recruiting in Texas when he went down to their touchdown club and was talking shit about the way they play ball or the way you're going to play his teams. And it wasn't a good look. And since then, they did struggle a little bit. They lost some battles they shouldn't have lost in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when all that was going on. So, there's always this, narrative. Like, Chad Morris was just he's a terrible coach. But Sam Pittman's, the eulogy or the narrative is going to be the guy could not close out one-possession games. He couldn't do it. But you're right, and I think you bring up something that I actually had notes on. I mean, he does have games that they lost by, a field goal or 4, 5, 6, 7 points where, damn, no one even expected them to be in that game. But it's that overarching narrative that he cannot win these single possession games. A&M last year.
What? I think the worst part of those, sorry to cut you off, I think the worst part of those is the ones where he had the lead, like the Texas A&M game and the Oklahoma State game. There's just no excuse for that. You didn't coach the win that you should have coached.
Yeah.
So losing to Alabama by a field goal, you're lucky to be in that game. But losing to Texas A&M when you had the fourth quarter lead, that's just poor coaching.
And the way you were blown out of Oklahoma State in the first half, it looked like they weren't even in your zip code. They just didn't even belong, and you're on the field with Arkansas based on that first half, the performance, only to fall apart. It's 39-31, but they went into double overtime. Essentially, that I do kind of view that as even though it wasn't a one possession game because they lost by 8, it really was a one possession game. They should have won.
I mean, it is. It's a 2-point conversion. It's still a one possession game.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Actually, it's 2-point conversion. These silly overtime rules, but then I think the other thing is okay, that stuff matters, but for me, it's getting blown out at home against LSU, which should not have happened. And I'm not saying Garrett Nussmeier and LSU were an elite team. They were the number 8 team in the country at the time. That shouldn't have happened. 63-31, that shouldn't have happened to Ole Miss. That should not have happened. Texas, the way you lost that game by 10 points and what could have been. Why is this stuff still happening? This is year 5, and that stuff was still happening. That's what to me matters the most. We're talking about year 5, and you're still getting blown out at home to teams that you shouldn't lose to. He can't beat Missouri. There's a one possession game for you. He lost that one 28-21. I say the team, to be fair, but it's still the team that he coaches. They're still losing these games. This narrative's got to change, and I don't know that it will with this 2026 schedule. It's brutal. And before people come into the comments talking about, oh, here we go, more negativity, more negativity. God, I hate that. Like, what do you want us to talk about, bro? What do you want us to talk about here? Yeah,
we speak the truth.
I mean, this is just kind of where it's at. Yeah, the Tennessee win last year was a one-possession game. That was a fantastic game. Malachi came in and handled that moment under pressure like a boss. Braylon Russell came through in that game, didn't get a ton of carries, but he definitely came through in that game. There were some good moments. There have been some good moments, but there's so damn many of these 7 or 10 point losses that didn't need to happen. They didn't need to happen. Yeah. And that's where I think you and I and Travis, when God willing, whenever we get him back, that's where we're all at on this. And it's only negative because how many games have you won the last 2 years combined in the regular season? And how many of these one possession or even the blowouts, not that a ton of those have happened, but they have happened. How many times do we have to have this happen before it's like, okay, maybe we do need to go looking for a new head coach? Like, how many more of these moments need to happen before Hunter Yurachek or the money people down in Little Rock, the board, and the money people up here for that matter, how many more of these do we need to have happen? These are bad optics. It's not a good look. And when people are tweeting this stuff out and they're showing you like, oh, well, here's your one possession record on these head coaches, that's just another X on your resume. Like, you don't want to be there. And they're there, and they're ugly blemishes on his resume. I want Pittman to be successful. I like Sam Pitman as a human being. He's a hell of a guy when he's off the record. He is a fun guy. I say fun. He's a nice guy. He really is who he says he is. I mean, as far as I could tell, I want him to be successful, but my God, we just cannot. This just can't continue. This narrative, Tim, it's got to change. The narrative's got to change.
I agree 100%.
If you guys are digging the show, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. Yeah, Hog Blitz is probably his favorite show so far. He has not been a big fan of either of these two. Yeah, Bobby Shiz says the Pittman era can be defined as close but no cigar. Hogs had a chance to win so many games and didn't. They were rarely blown out. Yeah, they were only blown out twice last year, and I think the year before last, I think they were blown out, I want to say twice in 2023. Am I wrong about that? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, they lost to Auburn 48-10, which is just unbelievable. And then they lost to Missouri 48-14. Everything else is like pretty close. Ole Miss, you lost by 7. Again, Alabama, as we already mentioned, you lost by a field goal. They went to LSU and lost by a field goal.
Neglected, Josh.
What happened?
I said neglected, Josh. That's how I was feeling.
Oh, yeah. Talking about the jukebox. Yeah. I wonder how the jukebox is feeling these days. Yeah, it's, we thought we were going to get more of that in 2022. We thought Arkansas was that was just going to be the new norm. And, yeah, no one hates Sam as a person. No one wants him as a head coach. Yeah, and I know.
I don't know. There's actually quite a few people that hate him as a person. I don't know why. People got really personal with Sam. If you remember, he shut down his Twitter because he's getting all kinds of personal attacks on him.
That's fair. That's 100% accurate. Yeah, he shut it down. The talks about his chest, and he came out and he talked about that, which was, man, I'm a fatty, and I get comments about my beard, about my hair, about my weight, and I get it. That stuff. I've got pretty thick skin, literally, but also like I've got thick skin. I can handle the jokes and the shit talk and whatever. I can handle it. But over time, you're like, God dang, and I can understand someone in his position where he's like, I don't want to deal with that. And then he came out in an interview talking to the media about people talking about his chest. I'm not gonna lie, man, I felt bad for him in that moment, and I'm happy for him because he's lost all that weight. and he looks so much better. And I'm not gonna lie. Tomorrow, by the way, I'm not doing this for anything, but tomorrow's my birthday, and what I want to do
Happy
tomorrow.
birthday, Ty.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll be 22 years old tomorrow. What I want to do tomorrow is I want to like start trying to like kicking soda off to the side as I'm drinking my Diet Dr. Pepper here. I want to kick some stuff, the carbs and stuff to the side. Seeing Pittman lose his weight, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like it's made me think like, man, I can do it too. I think I can do it. And seeing Pittman do that, you've been on your journey too. I know other people that I know have talked about doing it, and I've got some friends that have lost a lot of weight. So kudos to Pittman, man, for doing it. And I hear him when he's talking about the things that people are saying online. And I think that probably maybe even motivated him a little bit to lose the weight, because he did come back to Twitter. I'm just saying. Ty, let's see. This is from Hog Blitz. Ty, I do not like Pittman as a coach, but would never trash him by being overweight or whatsoever. Yeah, I agree. That's BS. She's, if they're going to go after someone, like I said, if you're going to come at me about the weight stuff, it better be funny. And
big guys got to stick together too.
That's right. I've probably got a little bit more on me than you do. You've been hitting the gym, but yeah, we got to stick together, man. So again, shout out to him though. I that's awesome. He's lost that weight. Steven says, happy birthday, man. Kicking soda is a big step that way, but it is. Just be happy and healthy. I'm trying to get into the diet stuff. So I'm like walking into it, and then I want to eventually just get into just drinking water only. But yeah, I want this narrative to change about these close losses. I'm over the losing period. I'm just over it, Tim. And when you look at the schedule, it's like, would a moral victory against Notre Dame, how would fans feel if the team that just went as far as they did a year ago in Notre Dame walked into Fayetteville and they only beat you by a point? What do fans make of that? Is that what you would call a moral victory? And are you just going to have to accept that? Would you take that as a hell of a performance? I think so. But at the same time, it's like, and again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. They might walk in here and beat the hell out of Arkansas. I don't know. But but fans are so tired of the close but no cigar, like someone mentioned in chat.
I wouldn't be 100% against a close loss to Notre Dame, because personally, I think they're going to whoop us. I'm not trying to be negative. I know people get all offended when you say that, but I haven't seen anything that says to me that we're miles better than last year. I think there's a trap game on our schedule in Arkansas State. I think they come in motivated and we don't care. I think Ole Miss is going to be tough. I think Notre Dame's going to come in and beat us. I don't want to say that. I want to be positive, but I don't see anything that's changed, and the coaching hasn't changed. So if we're within a point, like you just said, if we lose by 1 to Notre Dame, I'm going to feel like we did something, because I don't feel like we're going to lose by 1. And I don't blame the players for that. It's just like you see here, 7-17 on close games, and we haven't changed anything about the coaching. So I don't see a lot of hope in there, but I would love to be wrong. In fact, I hope that I'm wrong.
There's so many close losses. That is so many close losses.
24 games. 24 games of close losses. There's only one other coach who had that many, and that was Drinkwitz, and he was 17-7.
Yeah.
I mean, he did the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
From that perspective, the coaching hasn't changed enough for me to have the confidence in us. I think
nobody does.
I think the moral victory of Notre Dame is kind of acceptable. I hate moral victories, but I think it's kind of acceptable because we haven't. Now let's get through those first couple of games and see how we perform, and maybe I'll change my mind.
If anybody wants to call in, there's the link. If anyone wants to do it, you want to call in, give your 2 cents. There's certainly a lot of opinions in live chat. I'd love for you guys to join in on the. I know we didn't say that we were going to, so I don't expect any calls, but who knows? Maybe someone will. Chris Sullivan, $5 super chat. I'm going to join you on the weight loss. Got to get rid of some pounds too. Hey man, Good luck on your journey, brother. For sure. I got a lot of weight to lose, man. What happened to me was my kids were born and I just kept gaining weight. I just couldn't, I mean, God bless, you got two daughters. I think girl dads are more prone to gaining weight. I really do. I think girl dads are just more prone to gaining weight because when you have a son, you can actually go out and play sports with them, throw the old ball around, get them involved in all that. You're getting out of the house more. My daughters don't care about. Oh, we lost him again. My kids do not give a damn about sports. We tried to get them into softball, soccer, basketball, and they're just like, nah. Memphis scares me to death. Yes. Yeah. They are well coached. Memphis is well coached. They are. I kind of like what they've got. I'm not saying they don't play sports. I'm not saying that, but boys are just more likely to play sports. Okay, I can tell you right now, in Springdale, they had a hard time even getting enough girls to form teams, and they had to join the boys teams. In fact, my daughter did when she was in kindergarten. She had to play t-ball with the boys because they couldn't get enough girls. That's just the fact of the matter. We got Maurice Norman. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Tusk? What's going on, brother?
Bro, I'm just holding it down, keeping it real, drinking my Diet Dr. Pepper. What are you doing?
Drinking water and water in the lawn. How about that?
You're beating me. You're winning. What do you got for me, man?
All right, I want to pose this message right here. I am very excited about this upcoming season. I know everybody is not because of the past history and the past few years. I know we've been down, but I think we removed a lot of cancer from the locker room. I talked to about 4 current players, and I think these boys got something to prove, and they ready to prove it to the world, man. I think we're going to put the world on notice against Notre Dame. I say that we beat Notre Dame by 10.
Oh, dang. You got Arkansas by 10 over Notre Dame.
Because, Notre Dame don't pass the ball. Our Achilles heel being the secondary getting beat deep. They don't have a deep threat on their team. If Notre Dame come in trying to run the ball against the Hogs, we will win that game.
Well, Xavier Story, they've got some ballers on this team. I'm not going to sit here and tell people that Arkansas is just miserable because they do have ballers on this team. They've got some absolute athletes. It's just unfortunate you have this tough of a schedule. But Xavier Story, that's right in his wheelhouse against the run.
So our front six will be the key of this game.
Yeah.
You're right. I think Charleston Collins will have a big year. This kid had put his head down and actually been putting in a whole lot of work this offseason.
Yeah.
So just be aware and just remember this day. I say we beat Notre Dame by 10. Okay, it's going to happen. I see 9-3. If Arkansas can really beat, if they go in and they come out with their heads down, they beat Notre Dame and set us up for the season. Oh. Everybody got to think about it. Ole Miss breaking in a new quarterback.
They are.
And we're getting them early, not late.
Yeah.
They lost. Well, they don't have Junkin no more, so we ain't got to worry about him.
Another thing you pointed out, you made a really good point. Notre Dame, you look at their schedule, they kind of tend to not play their best ball the first 3 or 4 games of the year. Let's not forget, Texas A&M, who ended up going what was 8-4 last year, they weren't exactly the big dogs of the SEC, and they lost that game by 10 points to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame turned around and what happened?
See,
they lost to Northern Illinois, NIU.
Come on,
16-14. I don't think you're completely off your rocker here. I really don't. And this is something I've talked with. I think actually Tim and I talked about this, or maybe it was Travis. I can't remember. One of those two knuckleheads. I think we talked about this, how they were prone to losing some games early. Maybe you catch them sleeping. I don't know. And I'm sure you could look at the NIU game as kind of a trap game. Maybe that's what happened. But still, though, I mean, NIU has no business. That was their only loss last year for Notre Dame. So,
and think about it, Notre Dame lost a lot in the secondary.
Yeah, there's a lot of work there.
They lost 3 key players. They lost that safety. There was one of the top defenders in the country last year. They lost him. They lost their other safety. They started safety, and they lost one of their best corners. Mm-hmm. So They got to break in some pieces too now. They didn't even come in and walk the dog on Arkansas like people think they are.
I haven't made up my mind yet about that game. How close I think it is. They also do have a lot of returning starters, though.
Oh yeah.
We'll see what's going on with their quarterback situation with CJ Carr and Kenny Minchie, and they brought in that freshman. What was his name? I forgot his name already. But they do have some pieces there. They got a couple transfers in the receiving core. And they do have some movement in that secondary as far as transfers and some newbie freshmen that are going to be in that 3 to 2 man rotation for Notre Dame.
But think about Notre Dame. They don't pass the ball past 20 yards down the field either.
Well, listen, they do. I got a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman. Listen, man, Marcus Freeman's one of my favorite coaches in all of college
you didn't
football.
want him here. You want him here. We should have had him here in the first place.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just call it what it is now. You want him here. I do too. Now,
Freeman is him. I think he's brought Notre Dame back. But I'm with you. There is some movement there with Notre Dame. And hopefully, again, catching them early. Maybe you catch them sleeping. It's not week 2 early, but you're still catching them a little bit early. And maybe they do overlook Arkansas, even though we're an SEC opponent and they're playing us on the road. I'm with you. I hear what you're saying.
They play Texas A&M early too. So even though they got a cupcake game against Purdue before they play us, but they have a week out before they play Texas A&M, and then they got to follow up with Purdue, and then it's us.
Yeah.
And see, we got two should be cupcake game, but we can't say that. We can't say that.
No, we're not allowed to say that anymore. Yeah,
we can't say that anymore because we don't hold those shoes like that. We don't wear those shoes like that anymore. But trust and believe. Put it down for me, Tusk. 9-3.
I got you.
We headed to LSU 9-0.
Maurice Norman,
Texas A&M quarterback. He have highs and he have a lot of lows.
Yeah.
He ain't consistent like that now.
Yeah.
And we get to him early, we win that game.
Ooh, gotta get some pressure. I'm going to discuss.
Last season we did not prepare for him.
Yeah.
We only prepared for the starting quarterback they had.
Mm-hmm.
You remember he replaced him in that game because the Hogs, they couldn't move the ball against the Hogs. Yeah. And then he came in and changed the game because he was dual threat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I would say right now I would have Arkansas probably losing that game, but I don't think it's going to be the blowout. I think it's going to be a little bit better game than people think. But Maurice, I've got you down. For a Hog W against Notre Dame. Now, don't get mad when we come at you like, bro, Maurice.
I tune in every day. I just sit back and listen.
All right.
I
appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Maurice Norman. He likes Arkansas against Notre Dame. I'm just not there yet. Tim, I don't know if you're there.
I'm here. I'm taking my video off to see if that'll help me be more stable.
Okay.
Staying on the show. I couldn't hear what he was saying at first.
He likes Arkansas. I pointed out that Notre Dame has played some of their worst ball at the beginning of the year. Even though I love Marcus Freeman, dude. He's like my favorite. If there was anyone in my pool of coaches that I want, Freeman, and even before the Notre Dame job, Freeman is on my short list. I love that dude. I love how much he sticks up for his players too. He's just a man's man kind of coach. He doesn't put up with the bullshit either. But he had pointed out, some of the changes that was going on at Notre Dame and felt like we had a shot. That game is going to be in Fayetteville, and I think it's going to depend a lot on what Arkansas brings to the table before the Notre Dame game. I
agree.
If they beat Memphis on the road, I don't know. You should take care of business there. Arkansas State, you better beat them. I think Arkansas should just take them out to the woodshed, if you want my honest opinion, but maybe not. But if you come in, maybe you've only got one loss, it's to Ole Miss by like a few points. Fayetteville's going to be rocking. If you're one loss and you got Notre Dame coming into town, you played a really good Ole Miss team down to the wire, you barely lose that game on the road. Oh, dude, Fayetteville's going to be rocking, Tim. You know what it's all about up here. You know how crazy they get.
I do, and I agree with you. I just think the struggle is real to get to that point.
It is
one loss to Notre Dame. The struggle's real. I want to believe. I'll go into every single game hoping we win, including Notre Dame. I I think, we start off real strong like we did against UA Pine Bluff. We're going to take Alabama A&M to the woodshed. And then after that, I just hope we don't get trapped with Arkansas State, because I think you can start a downward spiral real quick if you get trapped in that game. So I don't hope that. I just think that's a realistic possibility.
Oh, what a comment. Good grief.
Uh-oh. Let's see it.
Yeah, it's talking about race. I appreciate this, Bobby Shiz. Thanks, man. Happy birthday. Love the show. Thank you so much. Yeah. Again, for anyone that's curious, I will be 22 years old tomorrow. 22. You don't have to question it. Okay. Don't deny it. Just accept it. Just accept it. I'll be 22 tomorrow. We're not tacking on any more years. Okay. We're gonna leave it at that.
You stopped at 22, huh?
Yeah, that's right. 22, and I just stopped counting. That's right. That's the year I got married. I was 22 years old in 2006, and I got married. Still married to my beautiful wife, Sarah, who just got back from Colorado. It's glad to have her and the girls back. I missed them dearly. But
sure you did.
I'm gonna have me a I think I'm gonna have a juicy steak tomorrow for my birthday dinner. I think. Here I am talking about losing weight, and then I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have me a big old fat juicy steak tomorrow.
No, you want to know the fastest that I lost weight? Like, I've lost some
meat,
and I've lost big, and I've lost little, and I've gained, over time. But where I lost the weight the fastest is I went on a strict carnivore diet for 2 weeks. Yeah. I saw Joe Rogan talk about it. I saw Jordan Peterson talk about it. And I was like, I'm going to give this thing a try. I mean, I dropped 10 pounds in like 3 days.
Yeah.
The first 3 days, I dropped a bunch of weight on that, just doing it for 2 weeks. But the first 3 days, I think I dropped 10 pounds in 3 days.
I went to a more red diet for like my lunches and and I did this for about 2 weeks, and I bought those little, those cheap, they're like $10 for 3 flank steaks or whatever, like those little chunk of steaks. And I would cook those, or I would do the stew meat, and I would mix that up, and I would separate that out for the week. Dude, I'm telling you, that's the most energy. Like, I'm sorry, man. We're meant to eat meat. We are meant we're meant to do this. We're meant to eat meat. And I noticed a difference. I want to get back to that. I've also heard the other side of that diet too, which high cholesterol, and you got to be careful and all that.
Well, mix it up with some chicken and salmon. So I was doing like in the morning eggs, and then I might do some steak for lunch and chicken for dinner, or chicken for lunch and salmon for dinner, and then steak the next day. Just mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Steven 1383 says, I'm not sure how Pitt could recover his reputation if we lose to Arkansas State, what little rep he has left. Yeah, that Arkansas State game, man, you find a way to mess that up and lose it. I'm sorry. You ought to be fired off the field. I know that won't happen, but you should be fired off the field. That's 2 games into the year. They're not going to do it. If it were later in the year, let's say it's like game 9 or 10, then he'd be fired depending on what he had done leading up to that point. But Arkansas State is going to be an interesting game for that matter. This game matters a hell of a lot more to them than it does Arkansas. It just does. It's that's going to be a big game, at least for the state fans and the overall meaning for the state of Arkansas. And they know that over there. Arkansas just doesn't.
We've said this before. I've said it before on this show, that it was in an interview a long time ago. I don't even know if you can pull these records back up, but Frank Broyles said, we don't play Arkansas State because we have nothing to gain.
Yeah.
We have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because you don't bring recruits in to see Arkansas State get high on their hog and beat us. And if we beat them, it's meaningless.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. The only thing that I like about it, the only thing is, and this is just me being economical, it's the fact that
money in the state.
It keeps the money in the state. You're not paying Toledo to come down here and beat you. You're not
Liberty,
North Texas, BYU. Of course, BYU is more reputable, but still, that game still.
But BYU at least gave back in a huge way.
They did.
Love BYU. I will never criticize playing BYU because they come and give back to your state for you.
Yeah.
So they do
Oh,
stuff for
they did.
the food
Yeah.
pantries and all that stuff. They do
Yeah.
food drives and everything for your state, for your school.
Yeah, that's
they're really cool about that.
Yeah. We have people asking about the league. Yeah, to get in the password, Austin already, if you click on what Austin tagged me in the main chat in Discord, or no, EA College Football 26 chat in Discord, that'll take you to where you can join the league. Again, if you join today, we'll give you 500 XP in the Discord. But you missed your opportunity for the 1K. But don't worry, we're going to get through this season, and we'll bring back the big XP gainer, assuming the league is still going. I wanted to kind of end on this. I don't know how chat feels about this again. And by the way, if you comment, please leave comments after we're live. If you didn't make the live show, please feel free, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like the post and share the content. I sent you that link, Tim, about Nick Saban possibly getting back into college football.
Yeah. I saw it. I read some of the comments on it too. There were a lot of people calling Craig McElroy an idiot. I mean, there were. If you go read the comments under that post,
yeah,
under his tweet or whatever it was, and he's like, if it's someone reputable, or I wouldn't even share it.
Right.
But then all the comments were like, this guy's an idiot. Like, Saban's not coming back. I don't feel like he has any reason to come back. His legacy is the greatest football coach maybe ever.
I would say ever.
There's nothing to come back for.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't need the money. There's no reason to come. He doesn't need the headache of this NIL and crap. So there's nothing to come back for.
Well, that's the reason. If you remember, he hinted to it as to why he left.
Right.
The exact tweet here, I'll put it up on screen for anyone who's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Here we go. Boom. Report. This is from On3 Sports. Greg McElroy said a person, quote unquote, in the know believes Nick Saban will return to coaching. If it wasn't someone notable, I would never say a word. And yeah, On3, I didn't look at all the comments, but Hoggy Lee Jones, that's a brilliant name, by the way. He tweeted, Chicken Man, we need you again. that is brilliant.
I mean, at the end of the day, is Saban enough now that there's so much money involved?
Yeah.
That's the question. I mean, he's a great coach. He's obviously a great coach. And guys want to come and play for him because of his history to send people to the pros. But is that enough with the amount of money that's now out there to throw at players? Is it enough?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone wrote he'll be working for Kirby soon. I mean, how old is Saban? 70.
If he comes back to coaching, does he just come back as a consultant for somebody?
That's what I could see him doing if he did anything as a consultant. That's what I could see him do. If this were 10 years ago, I would say absolutely. Maybe. I could see him getting back into coaching. I don't know.
He's got to be pushing 80 years old.
Yeah. Someone wrote, this is Red Raider Man on Twitter replying to the On3 post. To where? What school would he go to? And they've got Texas, LSU as an assistant, Baylor, elsewhere. I voted elsewhere. This could be I don't know.
Texas isn't getting rid of Sarkisian. So.
Yeah, Sarkisian's not going anywhere. I mean, he could. Sarkisian.
Would he go back to LSU to retire finally?
If they fired Kelly? So. If they got rid of Kelly. Baylor. Well, I don't even know why Baylor's on this list. Am I missing something? Does he have history with them or?
I don't know. I thought his history was Michigan State or.
Yeah. He went to college at Kent State, right? He was there when they had the shooting of the students during the Vietnam War. I think I remember him talking about that in an interview. Yeah, I don't know where he would end up. I'm like you. His reputation, just keep it where it's at. Ever since, even before he took the Miami job, he was already regarded as, one of the best coaches in college football. And then when he came back and solidified that at Alabama, why on earth would you risk that to come back and just coach for 2 or 3 years?
Why would you be Jordan to the Wizards?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Risk your reputation. Yeah, Greg McElroy did catch some heat on that. I thought it was interesting. Someone asked me what would be the outcome. In fact, it was the person that sent me the link that I sent to you and Travis, and he asked me what would be the outcome in 3 years if he were, let's say, if Pittman were to get fired after this year. So he took over in 2026, and he said, could he replicate what he did at Alabama in 3 years? And my response is, we got to figure out what's going on with. We got to figure out what's going on with NIL before you could do anything. I mean,
there's so much money. I think the money creates more parity, which makes it harder to do what he did at Alabama, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not closer to the you're not close to the Southeast, Florida, South Georgia, the Carolinas, where all the prime recruiting is, like you had at Alabama. You're in the middle of nowhere. Let's just be honest, in Fayetteville.
But the dominance too. I mean, the absolute dominance. Are we ever going to see that again, where Alabama runs off how many years in a row of championship game appearances?
I think that's
I don't know if we see that dominance again with the NIL and the revenue sharing, because there's just so much money to throw at these kids and draw them to places they probably wouldn't have even considered if they weren't getting the money.
Yeah. Hog 40 ounce says Texas Tech is spending big money. Oh God. If that scenario played out where if he's implying that he ended up at Texas Tech, where the billionaire ex-oil guy is spending all that money on these players, if he were to end up at Texas Tech with all that money, oh my God. Or SMU. Of course, we know SMU's in the middle of all that too. John Haas says he's going to Kent
got
State.
Ridiculous money.
Yeah. By the way, in our open league, I am SMU. I am SMU. So watch out. Rhett Lashley.
Well, let Rhett Lashley know that you worship him.
Well, I don't worship him, but I like that damn team. I'll tell you that much. SMU is pretty good.
I'm gonna text Rhett and just be like, "Hey, my buddy Ty worships you right now."
Oh, I totally do. Pig Destino says Nick Saban is not coming to Arkansas, guys. Chill.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's implying that.
No.
Unless he's talking to chat. Or you and I are not implying that. He's not coming here. No. He would be more likely to end up at Texas Tech than he would to Arkansas.
He'd be more likely to end up at Birmingham High School, helping out like Brett Favre did.
Yeah.
Brett Favre went to his Mississippi school. That would make more sense than coming back to college and doing something to his legacy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's doing that, so I'm sure I'll get ripped in the chat for it, but I'm saying that makes more sense. Like, go donate your time to some high school who needs you.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And we're already gonna get hit in the comments after this because we weren't positive enough. That's what's funny. If we balance it out, if we go too far, then we're in one direction, we're sunshine pumpers. And then if you go too far in the other direction, we're too negative. And I had one guy that would come through every single comment section and go, "Oh no, another negative show on YouTube about the Razorbacks." It's like, well, normally when go ahead.
I think it's good that I'm not on video tonight because my internet's still down, even though they told me it was fixed.
Yeah.
Because one time we got criticized for not dressing right.
I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah. We don't dress right. Yeah. Not even good fat jokes. Just they're talking about what we're wearing. And then we're too negative. And I'm like, bro, what do you want us? If we talked about basketball and Razorback basketball or baseball, then we would be called sunshine pumpers because of all the good that's happening there. You see how this works?
Yep.
People who come at us. Bobby Shish says, Lashley was re-signed. His buyout is too big now. That ship is sailed. Here's the thing. Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I didn't think
Lashley was coming here either.
Well, yeah, especially after the extension. Here's the problem, though. We have no idea what they're paying him. We have no idea what that extension looks like. There are rumors out there, and there's people who've said this is probably what he's making, but nothing's confirmed because they don't have to publish that at SMU. So I wouldn't say it's 100% sure he would never come here. I would just say it's probably pretty unlikely now.
If Rhett Lashley came here, personal opinion, I don't have any inside knowledge, but if he were to come here, it would almost 100% have to be he's from here and he has some love for this place.
Yeah.
Because there's not a. I don't think that money. I don't think anybody here is going to compete harder to get him as the coach than SMU will pay as long as he's successful. SMU's got, coffers of money.
Oh,
it's not like we're talking about. It's not like we're talking about Texas State or North Texas or
right.
And they probably have a lot of money too, but but
rich
SMU,
alumni.
if you remember, got the death penalty because of how much money they were paying their players.
Pony Express, man, that's a hell of a sports documentary.
That's right. So that's not our poor school that we're just going to go outspend even with Tyson or Walmart money. So
unless they fully wanted to get involved like they did with basketball, like Chicken Man did with basketball, but I don't see that happening. It's just such a large, so much money and so many players versus basketball, which is
5 players, right?
Yeah, and versus 11, 12 guys, which you really want to pay, right? It's another world. Steve-O, here we go. We're talking about juggling balls. Yeah, they're 25 years old juggling balls. Juggling balls. I love me some Coach Cal. If Pittman has another bad year and Purdue has a good year, okay, here's the Odum scenario. Odum is definitely headed back to Fayetteville as a head coach. Could see Singleton transfer back as well if he wants to follow back as a starter. That's not a whole dude. I listened to his interview with Chuck and Bo. It was on YouTube. I don't know. I like listening to Bo, even though I've got my there's not a single person I listen to all the time, and I'm sure people say this about me, where I agree with everything they say. But he does good interviews. He really does. I think that is definitely in Bo's wheelhouse. He was talking to Barry Odom, him and Chuck were, and everything he says, like they still have a home here. They're still very well connected. He loves this area. Now, and John Haas is already saying, hell no. I'm not saying I want Barry Odom. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I could see that scenario playing out. It could. I don't know after 1 year, though, at Purdue. I don't know about that. Hogblitz says Barry loves him some Fayetteville. He does. He loves it here. He loves it here. Why would anyone want Odom? Soft-ass defense, can't recruit, no chance.
Well, the problem, I think, is that he didn't get it done in the SEC in the first place, right?
Yeah, at Mizzou, he was, it was.
So,
yeah, and his defenses were not. But let's be fair, though, John. Let's be fair. What is Arkansas's defensive reputation right now? It's never been good. It was good once under Brett Bielema. I'm talking about like where they actually had the numbers to back it up. They've sent a couple of guys to the NFL that made some noise. Trey Flowers, and I'm just talking about over the last 10 or 12 years. Trey Flowers, Dietrich Wise, who had a small impact on that Patriots defense. Dre Greenlaw, Cam Curl's a Ram. You've got to, but other than that, Arkansas's never had the talent on defense, and they've never just put a good product on the field on defense, no matter who the head coach is. You can go back to Willie Robinson when Bobby was here the first time as the head coach. None of those defenses were any good. They were bend, don't break. They've had 1 year where that defense was pretty good, and that was 2014 under Rob Smith. One time, once. So, I don't know. It's just it's a talent issue, and it makes decent defensive coordinators look really bad. I mean, hell, Chief, when he came here from A&M, he was already sliding. Let's be fair. But then when he came to Arkansas and became the DC, it didn't take long, and we figured it out. Oh, my God. Nobody can coach defense at Arkansas. Nobody. Barry Odom had some moments, first half of the seasons, right? The first 3 years. First half of those years, they were pretty good on defense with guys like Catalan and so on and so forth. They had some good pieces, but then the second half of the season came around and they shit their pants. That's just always been the case with Arkansas defense. I don't know what it is. They have never been good. And I'm talking about statistically in just more than one area. And again, I think it was that 2014 defense with Rob Smith that was really good. They stop the run, they shut teams out, they stop the pass. Like they could turn you into a one-dimensional offense and then they could just hone in and stop you. That was a really good defense. They've only been able to do that once, where you felt really confident about what they were doing on defense. Since then, and really before then, now there were a couple of years under Nutt, they were pretty good, when you had guys like Ahmad Carroll and Kenny Hamlin. I'd rather have Kendall Briles the head coach over Odum. Yeah. Pittman's best years were under Odum's guidance. I'm not gonna. He certainly helped Pittman out, and Pittman once. I mean, look, your offensive coordinator is another former head coach. Seems like he does better with those guys that are around him. But then again, Dan Enos was a head coach too, just not at any Power 5 schools. Have you ever heard of John L. Smith?
Smile, boys. Smile.
Touche.
Just smile.
Touche, Eric Marler. Touche, sir. That's pretty good. So, all right. Well, we do appreciate our one call in. I'm glad we got one. We did share that link. I think we're gonna probably about to hang it up here. Unless you guys want to call. If you want a link, let me know. I'll give you a minute here to respond. Mr. Crash Out. That's Kyle. That's old monster drinking Kyle right there. Are you ready for football, Ty? Man, I am ready. I know like the outlook is dire and it's easy to be pessimistic and apathy is completely set in for Razorback fans. I get it, man. But I freaking love football. I love it.
You know what you need? You need some big Ray-Ban glasses and a cowboy hat. And you could be Hank Williams Jr. ready for football.
I thought you were going to say Dion.
No, you got the beard.
Oh, okay.
You put the cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
No, Hank Williams Jr. Are you ready for some football? The old NFL
ready for some football? Yeah.
Yes.
I'll bring you a monster. Football is my favorite sport. Because to me, and I'm not trying to, I swear to God, I'm not smart. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm smart, but it's like chess, man. I suck at chess, but I love the game of chess. I love it. And I'm trying to get my girls into like getting into wanting to play chess. They want nothing to do with it. But I kind of view football as the same way. You got the pieces on the board. Here's what they could do. Here's the plays you could draw up. And I think that's probably why I've been so addicted to NCAA football for as long as I was. Madden just had so many issues. I couldn't stand Madden for the longest time, but I love the sport, man. I just, I don't pretend to be a know-it-all about it. There's things I still like, if you want to get into the heavy IQ stuff, you're probably going to blow me out of the water, but I just love the game. I love watching it. I like watching highlights. I like watching tape when I can. It's just a part of it. And that's why we do this on Patreon, where we're kind of doing a deep dive on some of these players. We've already got 2 videos. If you're a Patreon, if you're not a Patreon subscriber with Tusk Talk, you need to be, because we're kind of breaking some stuff down. We're comparing some of the EA College Football 2.6 numbers, and we're comparing them to the actual stats and some of the analytics on these players. I love it. That is in my wheelhouse. I love talking about it. I love basketball too. I could talk basketball all day long. But football is like my bread and butter, man. And a lot of you are the same way. I know that. But there's so much apathy that's set in where fans are like, I could give 2 flying shits about football because Arkansas isn't, they're probably not going to be that great this year. But I'll watch, and it's going to be painful. Like when the Rams are bad, oh my God, how many bad years I had to watch the Rams when they first moved to St. Louis and they're playing in the outfield in Busch Stadium, how awful they were. Jerome Bettis played there a year and said, I'm out of here. I'm headed to Pittsburgh. It was so embarrassing to be a Rams fan in the mid-90s until a quarterback by the name of, him by Green, he gets hurt, and then they bring in this arena quarterback and Kurt Warner, and it was just on from there. That's probably what turned me into such a big football guy, is seeing that unfold the way that it did and what football can actually, what it brings to the table. I'm all here for it, man. Football is king. Even when we stink, I'm hyped. 100%. 100%. I'm in. Don't sleep on the UTSA coach. Yeah. Smoking Temp says Notre Dame, Memphis, and Arkansas State. Notre Dame, Memphis, and Arkansas State on trap games for the Hogs. You think Notre Dame's a trap game? I think it's a game. It better not be a trap game. You need to prepare for it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, do appreciate you. Make sure you check out Tusk Talk with Tay Patreon. The link is provided for you down below. Shout out to Tim Neal who joined today. We actually had a Monday night live show. It feels good to be able to do one on Monday night. And appreciate all you that were here on your way out. Make sure you like, share, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I'll be here. We're going to pump out more content. Patreon's going to get more content. We're just going to keep rocking and rolling. Might not be as busy during the week as far as live content, but we're going to get you what we can here. As far as content, I hate only winning 6 games a year. Oh yeah, let's hire Jeff Traylor. All right, we'll end on that note. Appreciate everybody, and I'll see you on the next one.